I notice a lot more of your peers or contemporaries are starting to, I don't know if it's an itch or whatever, but I feel like more people are starting to really blur the lines lately. I think it might have to do with creative fulfillment.
Yeah.
And also opportunity. Mm-hmm. Do you see any truth to that? Because Americana and bluegrass, the lines have really been blurred the last few years.
Yeah. I mean, you see stuff shift. I mean, for a while, like 10 years ago, still was catching the wake of like Oh Brother, and there was like a lot of the stuff you see like in the world of Americana music had like bluegrass tinge to it.
Dave Rollins, Gillian Welch, and all them, Alison Krauss.
Totally.
Yeah.
And now it's shifted, and now it's like soul music is kind of like sort of the touchstone of that world. And so I think it's always moving. So I think people, musicians and bands are human. You react to what you hear a lot. You're always just a product of your influences. So you hear some other band like doing something amazing with the like styles they put together, and I don't think that you can help but to have that influence.
But you told me years ago, and I always think about that. You said that it's the whole idea is to serve the song, not to force it into a genre to see what the song wants to be.
Sure. Yeah, and as we've we've added a couple new members to our band, and they have their own influences. Like Mike Ashworth's just like this ridiculously creative, huge ears. And Barrett's the same way. These guys just like have huge ears, and they can like kind of pull a point of reference for something from out of left field, and like bring it in. So, I'm a little bit limited in as far as what I can like just create with me and a guitar. But, I think now having guys in the band who sort of can kind of put things in a frame that, maybe I hadn't seen it with is probably a big part of it. And I think also just like, maybe just like maturing a little bit, and saying, hey, this song doesn't have to have a banjo that goes 160 beats, a minute. It'd be a lot cooler if it did, but
it's one of those things that I've learned as I get older as a writer. It's what you leave out that shows the true evolution of your craft.
Yeah,
it's what you leave out.
Yeah, sure. We don't have to. I feel like we don't have to like rely on whatever the tropes of bluegrass music necessarily. They're always there to pull on, and that's like the backbone of everything. But it's for us, it's not worth it just to have something that just sounds like a good bluegrass song. It's got to stand on its own no matter what setting it's in.
Well, it's almost like too in a figurative sense, like bluegrass is like the metronome for the core of the band, and everything else spreads out from there.
Totally.
Keep things going.
Yeah, I think vocally that's still, I think vocally bluegrass is still a huge part of what we do, just in the amount of like harmony singing we like to do, and trading around lead vocals and stuff like that. I still love to play the banjo. I still love to play a banjo fast and loud,
What are you discovering about it these days?
Like you say, that sometimes less is more, I'm playing guitar on more songs. I've got this killer new like slide banjo that I'm playing on some songs. So, a little bit of variety goes a long way within the show, and just giving things a rest and letting people sort of miss it for a second.
If you mind me asking, was it tough to see Charles leave, or was it the right time?
Yeah, no, it was the right time. Yeah, that was the right move. I think
because he's been there since the beginning.
Yeah. He's totally. He was huge in the band's development. Artistically, like socially, he was one of our. He was just always our brother. But I think things change.
Yeah,
things change over time, man. And the band is like just feels so healthy now. Like just like
everybody's on the same page again.
Yeah, everybody's on the same page, and it's just all really positive, and Charles is doing well for himself, his own thing. So I feel really good about it. I mean, if we had been here a year later without having made any changes, it probably would be a little bit weird.
Yeah. So as you're coming up to the 20-year, that's a big benchmark. You guys have, you've won your Grammy.
Yeah.
You've played probably every legendary venue in the country that you might want to play.
Yeah.
What keeps you going?
I mean, like I say, we've been so busy these last couple of years with Steve. Like, man, I feel like we're just
a blur almost.
I really do, but I feel like, when you go out and you only play 3 shows in a row of your own every 3 weeks, you don't get any sort of rhythm. You're always just trying to kind of feel your way through it, and wondering like if it's going right. And then like on the few times when you do actually play like a couple weeks in a row, you're like, man, this is starting to feel really good. And now we've got that's what we got ahead of us, and everybody is so excited about it. So it's 20 years, but I feel like we're gonna hit a new stride, that we hadn't been able to really settle into for a long time.
Sounds like you're really excited. You're coming in.
So excited, and I think we got a good batch. Got a good batch of songs. We got a couple killer projects getting ready to drop. We got one with the Symphony, the Asheville Symphony. That an album. Yeah, with God, what's the producer's name? He was like the music director for like Madonna and worked on Michael Jackson and stuff.
Wasn't one of the Lord Alge guys, was it?
What's his name? Dave? Shit, I feel bad now. Dave? I've never met him, but he was working with the Symphony. So we go in, record our bits at Echo Mountain, then we get ours, and they come in with the Symphony, record the Symphony. Michael Bearden.
Okay,
Michael Bearden is his name, and so that's about to drop, and that's gonna be really cool. And then we got we're just cut some demos down in Mills River for a new record for us that we're gonna send around to some producers, and we might have some word on that pretty soon. But I don't think that there's like a good model for us as far as albums go anymore. So we're just gonna.
I feel like you guys just kind of go where you feel.
Yeah. I think this album's going to be a little bit different. It might involve a few different producers and a few different locations, and I don't know.
Are you at a spot where the band can do whatever it wants?
No,
because there's always like people that might even be misconceptions of like. What are the numbers? Because when they see a tour bus and they see you playing Red Rocks, it's like, oh, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
But I know there's a lot more to that.
Yeah, in a sense, like I think we can pull off a lot. Like we can take it down to no instruments and one microphone. We can play an instrumental for 15 minutes.
But even on the survival ends of things, I know well enough with working with all these larger groups, yourselves included, that it's always a hustle. It's always about survival.
Damn straight. Yeah, my kids are school age now, and that's how I spend my day. It's just like, I take care of stuff, and you got to do your thing. But I spend as much or more time now on songwriting and just playing music than I ever have. And coasting is a myth, man. Yeah. Coasting is bullshit.
Well, I think especially it's almost like plate spinning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to keep everything going.
Totally. And the longer you do it, the more you have, because all of a sudden, you've got to have publicity going for this project over here, and then you've got to also be writing something for this project and rehearsing something for this. It's not out yet. It's not going to be out until February, I guess, is the original one. And now they're going to announce it. We got a special project for Merle Fest this year that we're it's going to be a whole new group of songs we need to learn.
Collaboration?
Hopefully some collaboration, yeah. And then we may have another like collaboration project around, Roy Cooper's said this is like the North Carolina Year of Music. So we'll have, I think, some projects working on that. So we may have like 3 or 4 albums worth of music. 3 of which, the symphony thing's old songs, like a retrospective or whatever. But like we might have like 3 albums worth of new stuff to us this year, which is crazy. But it's exciting, man. I mean, it's my favorite thing to do is still just to like put stuff together and work on it. It can be grueling, but like you can sit there with the band for an hour and a half working over one question and not get it, and be like, all right, see you tomorrow. We'll get back to it,
Well, thank you for talking with me.